The Hunger Games Catching Fire tops the weekend box office, becoming the biggest November debut ever. Hi, I'm Cinestars Brittany Umar, joined by Joe Williams, film critic for the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. So, Joe, despite Catching Fire opening this weekend with $161.1 million in its first weekend, there's actually some that are saying it disappointed, that it didn't bring in as much as they expected it would because Iron Man 3 is still the year's biggest opener. Does all that talk surprise you?
Yeah, those expectations get so inflated. I talked to a box office analyst the other day who was expecting only $165 million. So it's still the biggest non-3D opening ever. I guess they just were shooting for 200 million or something. Those are insane numbers, and you know, nobody's going to go broke on this thing.
Right. Yeah, and meanwhile, Thor and Best Man Holiday, they're still putting up good numbers. But you actually had some pretty cool news happen last weekend, right in time for the 50th anniversary of John F. Kennedy's assassination. Tell us what you did.
Yeah, while all the kids were off watching the Hunger Games, some of us grown-ups were listening to Oliver Stone introduce his movie JFK. He was in town for the St. Louis International Film Festival on Friday night, which was literally the 50th anniversary of the assassination. And Oliver and I are friendly acquaintances. I kind of talked him into doing this thing. I was his host, picked him up at the airport, did a Q&A with him, and then went out bar hopping with him afterwards. It was a lot of fun, biggest night of my professional life, but also a really somber special occasion because I'm personally very interested in the JFK assassination and in Stone's career. We gave him a Lifetime Achievement Award and got to revisit just why this guy is so great. He's got 3 Academy Awards, but you talk about a run of films in the late 80s between Platoon and Wall Street and The Doors and JFK. He was really making one great film after another, and we celebrated that on Friday.
Yeah, what a special occasion in a lot of ways. But let's look ahead to the coming up, the box office. We've got Nebraska, we've got Philomena, and we've got Disney's Frozen. And I know you've seen all 3 of these. How are you expecting them to stack up this weekend when a lot of people will be hitting the theaters for the holidays?
Yeah, Philomena and Nebraska kind of appeal to the same audience. They're both stories centered around elders. In Nebraska, Bruce Dern is this codger who thinks he's won a sweepstakes contest. Philomena is also a road trip movie. Judi Dench, who is probably going to win an Oscar for this, or she'll certainly get nominated, she plays a woman who gave up her child for adoption 50 years earlier, and she sets out to find the boy who's now grown and possibly living in the United States. Meanwhile, you've got Frozen, which is Disney's latest animated movie. I found the story a little puzzling, but it's certainly going to stick around for a while because there's no other kids' movies out there.
Wow, sounds like a lot of good picks at the box office this weekend. Would Philomena then be your pick if you had to choose one?
I really like both Philomena and Nebraska, but Nebraska to me is one of the best movies of the year, so you can't go wrong with either one. We're getting the good movies now, so it's a good time to go to the movies.
All right, so when it gets fun. Thanks so much, Joe. We'll talk to you again soon.